You ready?
Going live, baby. It's going live, sir. We are live, my brother. We are live. How you doing tonight?
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Night Brothers Facebook Live Intermittent Fasting Show.
How you doing, Q?
Doing fantastic, brother. Good to be here. Enjoying ready to get started with another show. We want to just welcome everybody tonight. We're glad to have you on board. As you come in, say hello. Don't forget to say hello. And we ask if you have questions. Don't hesitate to ask those questions as well. We're going to try to answer as many questions as possible as we move forward. But once again, welcome to the show, everyone.
No doubt, no doubt. Q, I was ticked off earlier today because somebody hacked my Facebook page.
Yeah, man, that's crazy, man. People just they do the wildest things these days, man. I don't understand. A 96-year-old woman, somebody want to hack her page. Come on now. Come on.
I was ready to fight, Q.
I saw it, man, to calm you down.
Oh my
goodness. My little brother wanted to go at somebody today.
No doubt, no doubt. Q, before we get started tonight, I want to show people this app that we've been using.
Oh, yes, yes.
This app is called Zero, and it's for intermittent fasting. And it basically helps to track your time, how many hours you're fasting. I mean, there's a video on here. If you can go pull it up on the Apple Store or Google Play. You know, we're not sponsored by this. We just give them our information. You know, it gives you different fast breakdowns, what type of fast they are to kind of help you out. You can track, log your mood, all kinds of good things. And tells you how many fasts you've done. And
yes,
really good information, good tool.
It's a great tool to have in your repertoire.
In your arsenal, no doubt.
So, yes.
Absolutely. So welcome tonight, everybody.
Hi, Charles Groves. How you doing, brother? Glad to have you on board tonight. And we're about to get started.
Q, I know we're supposed to do 8 p.m., but we're a little late tonight. I had to do some other work, so I do apologize, folks. But thanks for joining in tonight.
Welcome. Look at my baby.
That was a good trip we did last summer down in Florida.
Yeah.
My girl Alicia. No doubt. Q, I'd be glad to do some jet skiing again, man, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to doing that when the time allows us to do it again. Whenever we can venture out into that again.
No doubt, no doubt. What's up, Silk Sims? Charles Gross? Thanks for joining us. Tonight. Night Brothers Intermittent Fasting Show.
Hope everybody's had a good day today, and we're just looking forward to sharing some great information with you tonight, as always.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So.
Oh man, that's looking back on those pictures. Good grief.
Yes, came a long way, brother.
Yeah, brother.
Long way, a very long way. So, no doubt.
Once I learned how to use this tool that we have in our arsenal.
So, Q.
Yes.
How long you been at this now?
Oh, it's been a little over a year, man, and the results have been astonishing. So much so that it's changed almost every facet of my life at this point, man. And I'm just thrilled with the results, and I continue to use this tool for the rest of my life. My plan is to use this tool for the rest of my life.
You know what? 85 pounds. Q, you probably could go for 100 if you wanted to. You think you could hit 100?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, presently I'm setting at just about 209, 210 pounds roughly. Ooh. So another 10 pounds would put me in what we call Wonderland. In other words, I'd be at 100 and some pounds.
Q, do you realize I weigh more than you?
I know, it seems strange, seems weird, doesn't it?
I'll tell you,
I've always been the big brother, literally, figuratively. But yeah, man, yeah.
But awesome, man. Awesome job, though, man. I mean, you really done it. I mean, you inspired me to get back to my groove.
Man, look, you've lost over 45 pounds, man, and looking outstanding. And the thing about it, Lenny, you did it without any problems whatsoever, man. It just seemed like it just happened so quickly for you as well.
Well, you know what? It did, but you know, I've fluctuated because I've lost and I've regained. But as we talk a little bit more in this broadcast tonight, we'll talk about how this tool is so good that you can kind of do some things, and it could be very beneficial to you. If you want to stop it, you can stop and get back on the train whenever you want to. So,
Yep, that's the thing about it.
I see my son join. Thanks for
Hey,
joining.
little Lenny, what's going on, brother? How you doing, nephew?
So
All is well with you.
every Tuesday, 8 p.m.
Delta Cisco, how you doing? Good to see you. Delta Cisco Wells, good to see you as well. Glad to have you on board.
Hey, Delta. Barry Williams just joined tonight too, Q. So,
folks, we want you to like, share, and subscribe as we're going to be venturing out in a little while with our YouTube channel. And once we get that up and running, we want you to subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. But also don't forget to like and share tonight's broadcast, if you will. We'd appreciate it. And tonight's show, question number 1. Is a beach body possible in 10 weeks?
oh, you starting something?
Hey, guys, now you know summer is on the way, and whether we can actually go to the beach or not, everybody still wants to look good this summer. Am I correct?
No doubt.
You're still gonna be running around in your shorts, your halter tops, your tank tops, and everything else. With intermittent fasting, it's possible. Now you might not look like that picture's right there, but you can still look really, really good.
Yep. So we're going to answer this question through the course of tonight. And the next question to tonight, Q, is: would you like to guarantee 15 to 20 pound weight loss in 10 weeks? If somebody could come and say, I can guarantee you this is going to happen to you, would you take that bet, Q?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And this is the thing with so many people have struggled with through the years, myself included. But once you have the right plan that can make a difference for you for the summer, you got to roll with it.
And
look at the results here.
Just making 10 to 15 pounds would make a big difference to me. Even now, when I'm doing intimate, another 15 to 20 pounds would be a big difference to me, Q.
No,
so, ask yourself out there, would 15 to 20 pounds make a difference to you this summer? I mean, you can answer the question in the comments if you like. And we're not talking about being the models on the previous page. Hey, Rodney. What's up, Rodney Bradford?
Hey, Barry Williams, how you doing as well?
We're talking about 15 to 20 pounds with these realistic looking people on the screen right here. These are real people, 40s, 50s.
Not models, not supermodels,
yes.
Just everyday people.
But look what you can go from. I mean, in 10 weeks.
And Lenny, I always emphasize, this is without taking any kind of shakes, any kind of supplements, any kind of teas, any kind of drinks. This is something you can do spending virtually $0.
No lotions or potions, baby.
Nope.
But first, Q, let's break this down because we always got to break this down. Review the basics of intermittent fasting. And we'll probably do this almost every show for a while, folks, some people are new to it, this is their first time, or some people are trying it, don't really know their way through it yet. So we're just going to get some information out here. So some of the rules, basic rules for intermittent fasting. And let's get into the video.
Actually try this as a way to kind of see if I can improve.
I want to do this to lose weight. I have 2 kids and I haven't really taken care of myself in all these years.
So overall health is really where your interest is coming from. Intermittent fasting in general is just a way. I'd say the biggest benefit to it is that when you reduce the amount of hours that you're eating, you often eat less. The easiest way to stick with it is doing the 16-8. So 16 hours fasting, the 8 hours where you can eat.
So do you have to fast the same hours every day?
You really don't. You can vary it, and it would also be fine if you broke it for a day. That's okay. You could just get right back onto it.
And are there restrictions?
What I would recommend to eat during those 8 hours is really the same type of diet that I would recommend if you were not doing an intermittent fast. So loads of vegetables, healthy fats, high quality lean protein, and then maybe 1 or maybe 2 high quality, starchy, high fiber carbohydrates, of something like brown rice. And then also don't overdo things like fruit, and make sure that during those 8 hours that you really are meeting your nutrients, that you are getting adequate protein, that you are getting your vegetables in and your healthy fat. If you drink coffee, for example, you can have your coffee, but you can't add anything to it. But you do want to make sure in the morning if you're having coffee, you are having it black. The same goes for tea. You can have green tea, black tea, any herbal tea. And then let's talk about alcohol for a moment. Many people ask me, should I have a glass of wine or should I have a tequila? And what I always tell people is have the drink that you enjoy the most. Because if you're going to have X amount of drinks a week while you're trying to become a healthier person, you want to enjoy that drink. I think.
So Q, let's break that down. Let's break this down because they went over a lot of good information just now in this video. Let's break this down. She asked, the couple asked the questions. One of them, do I have to do this the same time every day, the same hours every day, or do I even have to do this every day, or can I take a day off? Can you elaborate?
Yes, one of the great things about intermittent fasting, I want you guys to understand, it is not a diet, but it's a lifestyle. And as such, it allows you a lot of flexibility in that regard. While we try to set up a window, we're going to show you a little further, the fasting and eating window. While we try to set up a 16 and 8 window for the beginner, it does not mean you're restricted to a certain time every day. That is, if you have to shift your time, you just adjust your feeding and fasting window accordingly. So you're not locked into a certain time. Oh, I have to eat every day by 12 noon, and I have to cut it off every day by 8 o'clock. There's versatility in this. You can slide that window front, forward, or backward whenever you need to. And that's the great thing about intermittent fasting.
Now, I think the guy asked in the video just now, are there food restrictions? So like during their feeding window, does he have to eat certain foods like keto? Explain that one.
Well, that's a good question that he asked right there. In theory, you probably could eat just about anything you want. But the problem with that is that when you eat foods that are high in carbs and sugar, it has a tendency to spike your insulin much higher than other foods, fresh fruits and vegetables and proteins and things of that nature. And it'll take longer for your insulin to come back down to base level, which is where the fat burning begins. So in theory, while you could eat anything you want, it's best to eat things that are not only taste good, but are good for you. And there are all kinds of things you can eat. Egg omelets, tuna, chicken, steaks, shrimp, crab, all kinds of greens, vegetables, corn on the cob. But you kind of want to stay away from the sugars, things like candy and the pies and rice and pasta.
This is somebody, that was at an outing, they did want to have a slice of pie or cake or some cookies or whatever. They can do that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's just, what's up, Lodi Maker?
Marvin, what's up, Lodi? How you doing, brother?
All right. What's up, Marvin? Thanks for joining us, brother. But they just got to be careful how much they spike the insulin, and it just takes longer for them after they go back into their fasting state for them to start to get back into a burning mode.
Yes, that's basically would be the only issue with that. But the food restrictions. Now, how about can they drink alcohol? Why don't you address that one?
Yeah, because I definitely drink my alcohol. Now look, I've been in the wine business for a while, so I'm gonna drink my alcohol, But look, this is what I say. Remember, when you're drinking alcohol and you're intermittent fasting, when you're drinking alcohol, regardless of whether you're intermittent fasting or not, if you want to burn weight or lose weight, you have to burn off the alcohol before your body starts to burn the food.
Yes.
So it slows down the process of intermittent fasting. It is an inhibitor to the process of intermittent fasting. But it doesn't mean that you can't still have a glass of wine or a beer to you just might have to fast a little bit longer that next day, to kind of compensate for that. So you can do that if you so choose to want to do that. So, that's definitely a possibility if you want to do that. I will say that. So
that's great. That's great to know. Anita Jackson, how you doing? Glad to have you on board tonight. Good to see you as well.
So Q, why don't you hit these basics some more about intermittent fasting, about the fasting window and the feeding window, and break down the differences. And
yes, guys. We always like to go over the basics of intermittent fasting because there are always new people joining us, so we want them to understand what a fasting window is and what a feeding window is. And what we recommend for anybody starting off with intermittent fasting is what we call the 16 and 8 method, where there's 16 hours of fasting. That means the voluntary giving up of food for 16 hours, followed by an 8-hour feeding window where you're allowed to eat food during your 8-hour window. That's the basic 16 and 8 fasting window. Now there are variations. There's the 18 and 6, where once again, you're fasting for 18 hours with a 6-hour eating window. There's the 20 and 4 method, which is called the warrior diet, where you're fasting for 20 hours and your feeding window is 4 hours. And then there's the OMAD method, 1 meal a day, where you're eating 1 meal during a 24-hour period. And you do that every 24 hours, the OMAD, which is where I told you people, that's where I first started. Now I've backed off and I'm doing a blend of 18 and 6, 20 and 4 most days.
Well, you can do, you can basically do, if you kind of get it down, you can do what you want. Like right now, I'm in the process of a 48-hour fast is where I'm at.
Wow, that's incredible. I haven't had an extended fast like that for a while. It's been a couple of months since I've done that.
You throw one in every now and then if you want to accelerate.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's good for your system too, because it shocks your system.
Absolutely.
Now, the first thing you want to do is to pick a protocol, whether you want to do it. And once again, if you're starting off, we highly recommend starting off at 16 and 8. You can do 16 and 8, 18 and 6, 20 and 4, or OMAD. Then you want to pick a window of time. When do you want to start your fast and when do you want to end it? Now, under this example, we chose 8 p.m. time, but you could be like me. I close my window every night at 6 p.m. 6 o'clock or 6:30 p.m. You have to want to plan what you're going to drink during that fast. And we want to come back and talk about that. And plan what you're going to eat during your feeding window. And we also want you to occupy your time, stay busy, so you're not constantly thinking about food and meals. And if you decide to work out, you do want to work out, we want you to work out in that fasted state. In other words, while you're fasting, work out during that time, because it's going to give you great results when you do so.
No doubt. Hey, Chandler Powell, thanks for joining us tonight.
How you doing, Chandler? Good to see you, my brother.
So, Q, let's revisit the questions we asked earlier. Is a beach body possible in 10 weeks? I know we've been, facetious about it, but, we're just telling people what the possibilities are with this protocol. It's not a diet, it's a lifestyle thing. And if you really kind of employ it, I mean, you can have amazing results. And then the other question is, if somebody could guarantee you 15 to 20 pounds off in 10 weeks, I'd go for it all day. And I'm not selling you nothing. We're not selling up.
Not at all. Only a healthier you. Only thing our goal is getting a healthier you.
Yeah, just trying to help our community. So here's some strategies that I would say should be employed over the 10 weeks time if you want to take this 10-week challenge, Q. So
all right, let's run the video.
Let's get started. A 2005 study published out of the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition took 16 subjects of normal weight and put them on an intermittent fasting diet. At the end of this 3-week study, subjects lost an average of 2.5% of their body weight and approximately 4% of their fat mass. Similar studies looking at different intermittent fasting protocols came up with similar results, with 3% reductions in body weight over 3 weeks and a 9% reduction in body weight over the course of 12 weeks. These numbers work out to an average of 1 to 2 pounds of body weight lost per week.
So Q, explain this last one. The more you need to lose, the better it is if you're going to try intermittent fasting.
Yeah, that's one of the things about intermittent fasting is for a person who has to lose a lot of weight, it can be a really effective tool. And because the more weight you have to lose, the easier it comes off with intermittent fasting once you lock into the protocols. You seem to lose weight at a faster rate than someone has just very little weight to lose. And we're going to show you an example of this, how you can transform using intermittent fasting. But I want those of you who have a lot of weight to lose to be encouraged, because if that is you, this is the right program for you. No question about it.
Yeah, you're right about that. So Q, how do you get there? What helps you hit the goals?
First of all, mindset. Making a promise to yourself that you're going to do this. And that was one of the things that springboarded me to my success. I had made up my mind that it was time for me to end those struggles and the fluctuations, ups and downs of my weight, and get this under control once and for all.
So it's a mindset thing. Make a promise to yourself. Stick to the protocol no matter what. That means even if you fall off, just get back on and keep going.
Absolutely. Trust the process. It gets easier over time. Now, I know for some folks, when you're first getting started with intermittent fasting, there may be some adjustment period, but trust the process. Within a week or two, it'll fall right into play. And people like Keith Colbert and Cheryl Hunt and many others tell me that all the time. Once they get into the flow, it just becomes a natural part of their lifestyle.
Yep, Lenny Rice and LaCane.
Oh, yes.
They are rocking with this right now. Hey, Janelle, thanks for joining us. Can you talk about the fasting has a residual effect weekly through autophagy and explain a little bit what autophagy is?
Yeah, first of all, I want you guys to understand what autophagy is. Autophagy is the cleaning and repairing of dirty and damaged cells in your body. And we all have those, no matter what kind of condition you're in, we all have those kind of damaged and dirty cells. And what autophagy is kind of like, I would kind of like to describe it as like a self-cleaning oven. As you implement intermittent fasting, particularly when you do it for longer periods of time, 18 hours, 20 hours, 48 hours like you've done right now, it has a way of cleaning up those damaged and dirty cells and recycling those cells, making them healthy and sending them back out your body. And that's why you feel so much better when you're fasting, because those dirty and damaged cells are being cleaned up in your body.
What's up, Derwin? Thanks for joining us. And Lita Proctor, more, thanks for joining us.
Lita Proctor, how you doing? Good to see you as well.
So, Q, I want to show a transformation of this brother that's on YouTube. He has a YouTube channel doing a fantastic job. Matter of fact, one of the guys, when I start looking at intermittent fasting, I learned from this guy. His name is.
We both did. We both did.
Give him a ton of credit, this brother. He did a 6-week body transformation. I'm going to show y'all the video real fast. His name is Edward V. He's got a channel called Fledged Fitness. And he shows that he basically went from 183 to 169 pounds using intermittent fasting as a tool. We'll talk about it after you watch the video. It's about a 2-minute video.
It's going to be really, really short. Just want you to see the power of intermittent fasting. And want you to know that just because someone has intermittent fasted for so long, me as a prime example, 4 years, 5 years intermittent fasting, I still can utilize it, gain weight, and utilize intermittent fasting effectively. Enjoy. One month and a half, guys. 1 month and a half of intermittent fasting. Yikes, was this thing hard? To gain the weight was really hard. I started in December. It's now June. You don't notice the weight gain when you're not paying attention to it, but to just try to put on weight so I can create, literally just so I can create this piece of content. This piece of content is like 4 to 5 months in the making. I'm gonna show you guys that even though I've been fasting for so long, it still doesn't fail you. I've been doing it for about 5 years, and I still can utilize it with no problem. Went from the 80s to the 60s.
And this brother right here, Q. I mean, I give Edward V, man, a lot of props, because that brother, man, he's definitely inspiring. I've watched him over the years, and some of the things that he talked about in that video. Now, he was already fit. Brother was cut. You know what I mean? Before he started it, when he was at 183 pounds. But you see how lean he got himself down to over the months, man. Over those.
That's one of the great things about intermittent fasting. It's a tool, guys. We want you to realize it's a tool. It doesn't matter how long you've been using it. You could have been, in his instance, he had been fasting for years. But he did this as an example to show you that even though he was familiar with intermittent fasting and had been doing it for years, that as a tool, he could gain weight and then cut back down, just to show you how effective intermittent fasting could truly be. And it's a tool that we can turn on and off like a light switch. I always say this, that once you learn how to effectively use intermittent fasting, you'll never have to worry about gaining weight again. Because if you do, you turn it back on and the weight will come right back off. It's a wonderful tool, man, and one that I highly recommend for just about anybody who's really trying to lose weight. But even though we talk about losing weight, there are other benefits that we're not talking about tonight that are so beneficial to you as well.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a tool, like you said, that like you see Beyonce have a baby, and then like, you know,
Yes.
next month she got an album cover. She looked tight. You know what I mean?
Oh, there you go.
What do you think these folks doing? I
They're
mean,
using intermittent fasting. Beyonce, Terry Crews, the guy who played in Wolverine, Hugh Jackman, and I'm trying to think of the other guy's name. I can't think of his name right now. But all of them, they're using intermittent fasting. They can't get to the gym every day. They can't work out every day, but they can fast every day. And that's what gives them the results they need.
yeah, no doubt, brother. So Q. So what's the keys to being successful over this 10 weeks time that we're trying to tell people? You know, if you want to get from now to 10 weeks, will put you a little bit after the 4th of July, so you still be in the middle of the summer. You want that beach body, you know. Number one,
stick to the plan. Stick to the plan. Once you've implemented your protocol, decided on your protocol, in other words, what hours you're going to fast, when you're going to fast, the time and the length of time, stick to it. Don't spike your insulin all the time. Now, I want you to understand, whenever you eat, it automatically spikes your insulin level, raises your insulin levels. But the thing is, like we said, your insulin levels go extremely high when your meal is loaded with carbs and sugars and things of that nature. And it just takes longer for you to come back down to baseline until you can get to fat burning mode. And so we want to try to not spike our insulin level as high. They're going to spike, but we just don't want them to make them go through the roof every time we have a meal.
right, because then it takes you longer when you're back into your fasting mode for that to come back down, and it takes longer for you to start burning.
And this leads into our next point. It leads you to the next point. Lenny, you want to talk about that?
Breaking your fast with the right foods. We talked about this last week. After your body's gone through 16 hours of fasting, start 8 p.m., sleep overnight, wake up in the morning, you're 12 noon now, you're 16 hours later. Don't start off with foods that really going to spike your insulin back up, because basically what that's going to do is kind of ruin some of the results that you have. Hey, Michelle and Derwin, thank you, brother. Thank you, man. That's what it's about. Joseph Simblick. So thanks for joining us. Yeah, so you don't, you want to, eat it, break into it with maybe some vegetables or something lighter, a little smoothie or something like that. But you got 8 hours to play with,
something like that.
eating window. And then you kind of slowly progress up to your big meal.
Yes.
To the end of your 8 hours in your feeding window. Another one, Q, extremely important. I had to learn this the hard way, boy.
This is something a lot of people overlook. Rest. Getting the proper rest is important, guys. Now, I know with the way things are now, it's kind of difficult for people to get rest like they really want to or need to. But allowing your body to get proper rest only helps you with your fasting process. I want you guys to realize too, when you're sleeping, that counts as part of your fasting window.
No doubt.
So if you're sleeping 8 hours, that's 8 hours of fasting in itself. But it's very important to get proper rest. And Lenny, this one right here is one of the big ones that we always like to talk about.
I think
nutrition.
You went over a little bit. You went over a little bit just when you were doing your walk this morning, right?
Yes. I don't want people to take this the wrong way. I love walking. I know you love running and getting out here walking too. And all that kind of stuff is good. It's good for your body. But Lenny, what's the saying you always say about nutrition and exercise?
You can't out-exercise a bad diet.
You just can't. You can't. I mean, if you could be out here running and walking and doing everything else, and if your nutrition is not in place, you're moving and going nowhere, because you're not going to sustain. You're probably not going to lose weight. You're probably going to still have a beer gut and belly and everything else. Or if you do lose weight, you're not going to sustain it, because the moment you stop exercising, guess what's going to happen? It's going to come right back.
But it said exercise, when you're losing weight and getting fit again, exercise is about 10, 15, maybe 20%.
20%. I'd say 20%.
About 20% at the most, that helps you to get to your successful level. It's really about diet. And that's why they see people that don't exercise at all have tremendous success losing weight.
No question about it.
So,
No question about it.
so Q, I'm opening up for questions. Anybody out there, you got some questions, you can type in the chat. And if not, we're gonna definitely move. Hey, Lisa Peters, thanks for joining tonight. And any questions anybody might have out there tonight, we'd be open to them. And if not, where can they catch us, brother?
They can catch us every night at Tuesday night at 8 p.m. And guys, we were a little late tonight, 8:30. We had some other things going on. But don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel, and to share this video with others as we try to get the word out more and more about intermittent fasting. And we're going to cover lots of topics on intermittent fasting. We're going to talk about many of the other benefits that we touched on, some of them, but we want you guys to understand that even though weight loss is the #1 goal for many people with intermittent fasting has so many other benefits which are good for your body and your overall health, that it should be a part of everybody's lifestyle. And Lenny, before we leave out, we just want to talk a little bit about variation about intermittent fasting. It doesn't mean you have to do it every day. You can choose to do it 5 days a week, weekends off if you want to. It's up to you and your goals, your objectives. Personally, it's a lifestyle for me, so I do it just about every day. But we don't want you to be so rigid in your approach and you feel like, well, man, I can't do this every day, so I can't do it at all. Something is better than nothing at all. Would you agree with that, Lenny?
Oh, yeah. And then, I mean, it's just, with what's going on out here, everybody knows what's going on out here right now with the health situation and the scare and, this big pandemic. Man, we got to just live better. I mean, I just, like every day, somebody else on the screen and died. It just seemed like, I mean, it's just over and over, and, nobody knows the date of time. We can't, but I always say I don't have to help myself to the grave. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
And we just really want to encourage our community, or everybody, not just our community, but just encourage people that there's a better way to live a little bit healthier. And, I hope you're successful in your goals. If you got any questions about this, we'd be more than happy to help you out with whatever it is. Until next week, what's that?
And Lenny, I want to clarify one other thing before we leave. I just want you to know that I don't want anybody to be confused about this. We're not saying exercise is a bad thing. Exercise is a great thing. We highly recommend exercise. But we just don't want you to think that exercise is going to get you to your goal alone.
Yeah, you can't do that. Look, Q, for years, I pigged out, and, almost up to 300 pounds. And, but I was still exercising. I was still playing basketball. And I was just a big basketball player. Just a bigger body.
I think of all that time I spent in the gym, but as soon as I left the gym, I was going to eat 2 cheeseburgers and order fries and a shake. And, I was not getting the results I need because my nutrition was not in place.
Right. So
once I learned that nutrition first, exercise 20%, nutrition 80%, the magic happens.
Like I said, whether you're older, I'm 60 years old. I know you're 60 something, Q. Whether you're younger, whether you were fit at one point, like a lot of athletes like Brian Brown, I see him out there getting it. Kevin Thompson, Roger Park, a lot of guys I went to high school with, really getting it. Armand Wallace, really, getting back in shape again.
Lodi Makel.
Yeah, Lodi.
A lot of guys. Anita Wyatt, even some females, Anita Wyatt and many others out there getting it in.
Yeah, so I mean, just a work for anybody. So, but anyway, look, y'all, peace, love y'all, and we'll see you next Tuesday, right, Q?
Yeah, next Tuesday. Now, guys, before we read, if you have any topics that you want us to cover, put them down below, and we'll talk about those topics as well. And we look forward to seeing you guys next week. Love you guys. We just want to keep giving you great information and keep everybody healthy. Peace and blessings. Take care. Catch y'all.
No doubt, brother. We will see them next week. All right, y'all.